Yeah, that's a big bite of apple to step into this. You could have been pretty comfortable just living the Hines Ward life, but you get to deal with us for the next couple of months.
I just think my purpose on life, man, I've always just want to be able to help guys. And for me, I wasn't the biggest, the fastest, so I had to work my tail off for everything that I've gotten over the 14 years playing in the city of Pittsburgh. So, to be able to help these guys that have a chip on their shoulders, wanting to prove somebody. A lot of these guys, it's not that the talent's not there. A lot of these guys just don't know how to be a professional. They just don't know what it takes to go into becoming a professional athlete, the grind, the dedication. So, just being able to be a mentor to them and then assemble a staff and put a staff together that can help develop players. That's won at the highest level. That's coaches that have been head coaches and offensive coordinators, things like that. That's the type of staff that I tried to assemble to be able to do and give all these guys great resources so they can possibly make it to the next level one day.
I don't think you get to where you got, Coach, by doing things half-heartedly. So what did the upper management of the XFL tell you that made you say, hey, you know what, I'm comfortable attaching my name to this and being a part of it?
Yeah, well, of course, Dwayne Johnson, he sets the tone. I think all the things that he's done throughout his career, everything he's kind of, put his name on, kind of turned to gold. But also at the same time, being a former player who didn't make it, I can hear the passion and the chip on his shoulder that he really wants this thing to, sustain and have a longevity. And Danny Garcia, she is a PR mastermind. She basically branded The Rock. But,
right.
So having her on the board, and of course you need capital. So having Redbird Capital as well, understanding that startup leagues, they do cost money. You will lose some money early on, but long haul, the big picture, we're looking for things to really get settled, and hopefully we can be down in San Antonio permanently for a long time. So I'm just excited when they asked me to be a head coach. Just the names that were involved, of course, Wade Phillips, Bob Stoops, Rod Woodson, and all the other guys, T-Buck, Anthony Beck, Jim Hazard. Just the names collectively, so many great football minds. I was like, yes, I'll be a part of that. But then the option, I actually wanted San Antonio.
Well, you know what, Coach? Real quick, we had heard that it was going to be you, and then we saw Barlow's name was thrown back out there, and then it came back to you. Well, what was the decision-making process for where the coaches landed?
Well, I think they had to have a connection. Of course, Wade Phillips, he's Mr. Houston himself.
Oh, absolutely. And Stoops, he's just south of OU, so yeah, it makes sense up in Dallas.
Correct. So there was other teams, but when I saw San Antonio and having already been down there and saw, I remember driving to one of the games when I was working at AAF. I saw how passionate fans were tailgating outside. I was like, damn, they really want football. This is awesome.
We are hungry, Coach.
Me, man, yes, trust me, I know, man. And it just got my fuel just burning. I want to bring that championship. That is really my goal. I always set goals in life, but how special would it be to go down to San Antonio and hopefully try to bring a championship to that city that craves football? I know how passionate their fans are. I've been in the Alamo Dome. That place can get rocking. Our whole thing is I just want to have that connection with our team to the city and put on a great product and give the city of San Antonio something proud, something that they can go cheer for and be proud of.
That is Hines Ward, your new head coach of the San Antonio What's?
I can't let the cat out the bag.
There is a cat in the bag, is what you're telling us.
Yes.
Now, will you let us know if we're hot or we're cold? Can we if we throw some things out? Will you go? You're close. Like, is it something military? Is it like defenders in that realm? Is it more Texas?
No,
is it armadillos? Is it
tell.
something from the past? Okay, Coach.
It's not that, but I don't want to get fired on my day off.
Well, let's not do that.
Right.
That joke's really appropriate around this building. He is Hines Ward,
exactly.
the head coach of your San Antonio XFL team. It was named last week. Now, certainly you're familiar to football fans. We can go all the way back to Georgia. Certainly we'll talk Steelers and your career after that. If you are a fan of the movies, you saw him in Batman Rises. He was also in The Walking Dead. You've done a lot of things. And in fact, Coach, we kind of glanced over it just a bit. The last time we saw each other, you were down in San Antonio working with the Alliance of American Football. And certainly you know that we were part of it as well, and we were very excited. Now, what was it about the XFL that brought you to you spoke to The Rock and Danny, his PR, and really the money and the expertise that comes with them. But what was it about what the XFL was saying that got you over the bad taste that so many people had left with the Alliance League?
Well, it was just the people that, success starts at the top.
Right.
I think, you look at Dwayne Johnson, you look at Danny Garcia, you look at Redbird Capital. It's like a perfect triangle. You have somebody leading the way with anything that The Rock does. I mean, he has like 4 billion followers. So, when he says something, everyone listens. So, but Danny Garcia, I mean, she is a PR mastermind. She basically branded The Rock and made Dwayne Johnson who he is. And then, of course, Redbird Capital. I mean, them. Getting into the mix, understanding that, yes, you will probably lose some money in the first couple of years, but I think having a plan long-term is kind of the goal, and I think doing it for the second time around, or the third time around, actually, having XFL 2.0, and now coming back around, they've kind of like saw all the negative parts and try to create on the negative things. So hopefully, this thing is here to stay for a while. So I just think it starts with the top people, and then for us, it's about getting, of course, the players. Looking into some of the showcases, you saw some of the talents, and then at the end of the month, you have some cuts from the NFL, and especially with COVID, because you look at this year's class going into the NFL, you got juniors, you got seniors, you got 5th year, 6th year seniors that are all involved due to COVID. There's going to be so many great athletes out there that really, like I say, for whatever reasons, either they didn't learn the playbook fast enough or they got hurt during training camp. So we're going to have a wide variety, a nice selection of pool to pull from after the cuts are done in the NFL.
A big topic, this week, and we're just talking in general, Coach, as far as football goes, is film study. We won't have to go into details on anyone's names, but where did you come out on it in your era, your time spent at D1 football and college football, as far as how much time was spent at your position, at the quarterback position, watching film, and how important is that to winning on Saturdays or Sundays or what have you?
Well, in the pros, I mean, that is your life. You live in the film room. Any edge you can get, coverage, tips, how your opponent plays you, what are tendencies, things like that. I mean, you want to get that edge. I remember just, my years in Pittsburgh, you'll walk by and thinking that you're the last in the room. I look in there like 9:30 at night. You see Troy Polamalu still in the film room.
Wow.
You're seeing guys go home and actually have a film session set up. Their theater has been changed into a media room. So, that's how much the game, especially at the pro level, that some guys just utilize that, man. And you see instinctively, like, how the hell he knew to go there? Because he watched so many film study that he just, he trusted what he saw. He anticipated it, broke on the ball, made a play, and things like that. Whereas the college level, you're limited to what you can do because of hours. I think you're limited to 20 hours, 25 hours a week. And through practice, through install, and then with them having study hall and classes, you're very limited as how much stuff you can actually put on tape. So college, I just think, is tough for these kids. And that's part of the reason why it's hard to really break into the league, because one, they don't know how to study film. When they do get the opportunity to go to a camp, now they have all this free time. They don't know what to do. They're just like, man, I'm tired of looking at this playbook. Well, you better dedicate yourself to the playbook because you probably won't make the roster.
And Coach,
and thirdly, like, a lot of guys don't want to play special teams. Well, I hate to tell you, if you're not a first-round pick, your butt going to be on special teams. I can guarantee you that. So I tell guys to embrace that role instead of sitting there and thinking, oh, man, I hate special teams. Well, you better embrace it if you want to make it to the next level.
Hines Ward, your new head football coach of the San Antonio XFL team. He knows the team name. He ain't saying. What's the time frame for the release of that? Do you know?
I think we're coming up in the next couple weeks, probably end of the month, early September. I know the draft is going to be around mid-November. So right now I'm still finishing assembling my staff, start putting the playbook together, try to make it simple so guys can understand it. And then come November, try to get the team together. We'll do some Zoom calls and start talking about conditioning, and then get them all set, get ready to go in January.
A couple things. One, when you bring up conditioning, did they tell you we've been in 107 down here, Coach? 105? I don't know how much y'all going to be outside, man. It's been brutal.
He spent time in Athens. He knows heat.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, for our timing standpoint, like we don't even get the guys until January.
Oh, okay,
so,
cool. Okay.
It'll only be 95 then, Coach.
Yeah. Well, and plus, the Alamo Dome is sitting right there, so we don't have to worry about all the elements and stuff. So that's part of the reason why I chose San Antonio to play football and not worry about the heat or the rain or the weather or anything. But I'm super excited. Like I say, man, just one, I'm humble at the opportunity to sit in the chair. I surrounded myself with guys that are former head coaches that I can lean on. And just make this collectively as a group. I've been very blessed to play 14 years for a great organization. I have two great soon-to-be, one Hall of Famer coach, one soon-to-be Hall of Famer coach, Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin. And so I've seen success. I've been around success, so I know what it looks like. And then I just know with those guys, hopefully I can just follow in the footsteps of being a great leader of men. And that's something that I've always loved about Cowher. I loved about Tomlin, that, they were player coaches and they got the most out of their players. So hopefully I can follow in the same footsteps as those guys. And I tell people all the time, people say, oh, what's your favorite, moment? And I was like, being named, voted team captain for over half of my career, playing with Pro Bowlers and Hall of Famers and all pro, that they voted for me. This wasn't a media vote. This wasn't a coach's vote. This is strictly peers that they looked at me as one of the leaders. So being able to lean on that, man, I just want to put out a great product, help develop these players, and hopefully making it to the next level and bring home a championship, an XFL championship, to the city of San Antonio.
You brought up player coach. The media, Coach, has turned that into a negative connotation. But from the locker room, from you guys in the locker room that are actually doing it, what is a player coach a good thing, bad thing? Well, how do y'all see it from your point of view?
I look at a player's coach as having played and understand kind of, you got to get a good sense of, what your team feels like. You don't want to grind them to the nub all the way to the end of the season. You put on the pads all day. And I think for me, when I say players coach, having Coach Cowher, who played special teams when he was in the league, he understands the role of special teams. So he always came from the point of, if you wanted to make this team, you was going to make special teams. So the point of emphasis of going out there and being physical, making plays, just really being a great football player. He didn't really care what position you played. He just wanted you to be a good football player. But he understood that the grind that it took to do all those things. So certain days, like maybe halfway point of the season, he just takes the shoulder pads off.
Right.
If you don't know how to tackle by the halfway point of the season, then it ain't going to happen. So to be able to take care of his players in that sense, and understanding the big picture, because at the end of the day in Pittsburgh, it was for nothing, Right. So being able to understand that, hey, I need to pull back on the players because I want them fresh going into the latter part of the season when playoff football actually starts in November and December. Understanding that, I think players, older guys, they respect the coaches that played the game and understand that. Where you get some young coaches, man, we're going to full pads every Wednesday, Thursday throughout the whole year. And that is a long time. You're 20 weeks into it, man. Sometimes you got to just dial back. And I think some of the negativity, I think when you say players coach, oh, you can't treat everybody the same and things like that. For me, it's all about being held accountable. That's something we had in Pittsburgh. We didn't really care all about the little nuances and stuff. I'm not gonna be guys' parents, but at the same time, I want to hold them accountable for what they do. Understand that there's consequences for things that you do both on the field and off the field. You do some selfish stuff on the field and you hurt the team negatively. You probably won't play. You won't be in the game. If you show up for meetings late, you probably won't play. That's the one thing I tell the coaches, man. Don't get into arguing back and forth with the players. The one thing that we can control is the playing time. So, but just holding everybody accountable.
Coach, that begs the question. That in your position with the XFL, because obviously the XFL is formed, and it's going to be a spring league, and there's a lot of talk of developing feeder leagues and things like that. What's your as far as the success as a coach? You're going to be judged on wins, obviously, but will you be also? Yeah. Are you going to judge yourself by how many guys pass through your organization and make it into the NFL? Do you view yourself as a developmental preparatory coach, or are you viewing yourself as you're here in San Antonio and my only goal is to win first and maybe improve your game to the point where you get to the league? How do you view your role as the head coach in the XFL?
Well, first and foremost is to win,
right?
Because I think if you win, everybody wants winners. I can't tell you. Time and time again, you look at a winning team, chances are they got a lot of good players that can possibly go to the next league, to the next level. So to me, it's all about, yes, developing, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's about winning. We are in a producing business. It's about wins and losses and winning a championship. I just think if you win and you take care of business on the football field and win the championship, then everything else will take care of itself. We'll have players go on to the next level, get a chance to put some great stuff on tape. And clearly, we put some great things on tape if we make it all the way to the championship game. So I think you can kill two birds with one stone if you just handle what you do on the football field and find a way to try to win and have success and win the championship. Then everything else will come into place.
He is Hines Ward. He is your new head coach of the San Antonio XFL football team. I'd give you a name. I don't know it. Coach, do we have a color scheme? Are we going to go? We're not going to be wearing yellow pants, are we?
Really trying to get me fired on my
Ignore him, Coach. Ignore him, Coach.
You have to understand, the boss lady herself, Danny Garcia, is a PR mastermind. So there's reasoning why she wants to have certain dates and things like that. And I will not fall for your question. You're going to get me. Yeah. She got me on speed dial if I were to say anything. So I can tell you one thing. City of San Antonio, they would love the colors. And they would love the team's name.
Well, we're excited. Awesome. We love our coach, too. Coach Hines Ward will be our coach. The season gets going in little after the first of the year in 23. They'll get going earlier than that, and we can't wait to have you here in San Antonio to meet you personally. Our XFL's coming, San Antonio, and Hines Ward, your coach. Thanks for stopping by, Coach. We appreciate you.
No problem. Let's go, San Antonio. Let's go.
Yes, San Antonio, what's? We appreciate you, Coach, man. Have a good one. We can't wait to see you.
All right, guys.